Throughout these 7 video conferences this past week, there have been Green Party members joining us from all across Canada. We acknowledge that no matter where we are and where we live, we all are on traditional lands, in many cases unceded lands, that for thousands of years were under the sole stewardship of the many Indigenous nations that live in this vast country. We are grateful these peoples cared for these lands for millennia, ensuring that the land remained healthy and abundant in its many gifts. We gratefully acknowledge that the wisdom, the care, and the love of these First Peoples is a reason why the nation we now know as Canada is a land of abundance, freedom, and peace. Ila Kesla. Okay, so the housekeeping stuff right now is, I won't do my lame joke about the emergency exit is out your front door. So I've done that one a couple of times, but just to say that we are all volunteers who have been organizing this, and we're not professionals at this job. We are just doing this in good faith to be as fair and as open as we can be in presenting our Green Party members with the candidates for federal council. So these Zoom sessions have been organized entirely by Green volunteers. No Green Party staff have been involved. And I want to make clear that no candidates were involved in the actual organizing of these events, nor in the compilation of the questions. Oh, I haven't made a list of my speakers. My apologies. So how I've been organizing the speakers is by last name, alphabetically by last name. And so that's the order we're going to follow tonight. And then it just rotates through the last names. And so the order tonight will be Dave Bagler and John Kidder and Darcy Lantier and Kate Story. And also, JC Palan is providing translation. So for the 3-minute introduction, the candidate can speak in either language first and then follow up in the other language. And JC will provide the translation. And during the question and answer period, if you want translation during the Q&A, then just ask for that at the beginning of your answer. And then he'll know, and just pause after every couple of sentences. Again, in terms of security and full transparency, we're asking everyone on this call to rename themselves with their first and last name. And you want to, if you're on a regular computer, it's in the top right-hand corner of your Zoom screen. No, I'm sorry. It's not in the top right-hand corner. It's in the top right-hand corner of your little thumbnail picture. So if you hover your mouse in the top right-hand corner of your little thumbnail rectangle, you'll see a rename option. The other way to do it is to click on the participants button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, find your name there, hover your mouse over your name, and you'll see a blue button that says more. You can rename yourself there. We're asking for all of the participants to remain muted throughout and to keep your video off. So you would click on the button that says stop video, and that's in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom screen. Pat Carl is our timekeeper, and the candidates are asked to please make sure you can see Pat in your little thumbnails so that she can wave her yellow card and her red card. Whoops, wrong order there. I think that's, you wave the red card first. The yellow card is when you have 30 seconds left, and the red card is when you are out of time. So please keep an eye on Pat for that. And Carol Thatcher is going to be our co-host. She will be monitoring the chat and looking for good questions for our candidates. How we've done these throughout is I'll ask a question or two and then we'll go to the audience. So the audience is encouraged to put your questions in the chat. And as I said, Carol Thatcher will be monitoring that. So our candidates are going to have 3 minutes for their intro, and then they will have 1.5 minutes after that for the questions. And we will start now with Dave
Megan, can I get clarification?
Yes.
Do we have 3 minutes en anglais, 3 minutes en français, or 3 minutes? Qu'est-ce que c'est le format?
6 minutes altogether.
Merci.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for that, John. And the same with your question and answer. You have 1.5 minutes in one language, so it will in effect be, you'll have 3 minutes with the translation.
Simplement pour indiquer aux gens que les candidats auront 3 minutes en anglais, 3 minutes en français pour faire leur introduction, et par la suite, pour répondre aux questions, ils auront 1 minute et demie en français et 1 minute et demie en anglais.
Okay, thank you, JC. All right, so Dave, go ahead, you're on.
Je vais me présenter en anglais après qu'en français. Salut, je m'appelle Dave Bagler, j'habite à Ottawa Centre avec ma femme Katie et nos enfants Ben et Elizabeth. Je suis actif dans le Parti vert du Canada depuis l'année 2006. Les membres m'élus ont beaucoup de positions, incluent le Conseil des Jeunes Verts, représentant de l'Ontario et le président du Parti vert du Canada. J'étais un candidat pour le Parti vert de l'Ontario en 2011 et 2014. Je suis le chef d'équipe des développeurs de logiciels. Avant, j'avais une entreprise. Donc, j'ai les compétences en finance, gouvernance et gestion pour être votre représentant du fonds. Cette année, on a beaucoup de changes. Nous avons besoin d'améliorer notre communication et la collaboration. J'ai un plan positif de réforme pour notre conseil, notre gouvernance et nos relations entre le Parti central, les membres et les associations de circonscription. Nous pouvons réussir avec la responsabilité, la stabilité et le respect. Le Conseil devrait travailler avec toutes les unités pour tracer la carte de notre parti et déterminer comment les unités travaillent ensemble. Cela formera une compréhension commune pour la création d'accords de service. Le but des accords est de trouver l'équilibre entre la capacité et les besoins pour créer des ententes partagées. Je veux améliorer l'expérience des observateurs. Les observateurs ont besoin des documents de réunion et l'accès au processus verbal d'origine. De plus, toutes les sessions privées doivent inclure un rapport. Vous ne pouvez pas simplement terminer la réunion. Nous avons besoin d'améliorer nos codes d'éthique pour exiger le comportement respectueux dans notre parti. La responsabilité, la stabilité et le respect sont importants pour notre croissance. Je suis optimiste. Regardez nos candidats des Jeunes Verts et nos candidats pour la chefferie. Notre avenir est radieux. J'espère que vous me choisirez votre premier choix pour le représentant du fonds. Merci. And in English, hi, thank you all for participating, and thank you to the organizers for bringing us all together this evening. My name is Dave Bagler. I live in Ottawa Centre with my wife, Katie, our son, Ben, and our daughter, Elizabeth. I have been active in Canada's Green Movement since 2006. Members like you have elected me to multiple party roles. I was a Young Greens councillor, an Ontario representative, and our party's president. I was a candidate for the Green Party of Ontario in 2011 and 2014. Professionally, I manage a team of software developers, and before that, I ran my own business. I believe that I have the governance, management, and finance skills necessary to serve as your fund rep. This is a year of big change for us. We need to improve internal communication and collaboration to make sure that our next leader is able to hit the ground running. I have a positive plan to refresh council, reform our governance, and renew the relationship between the Central Party members and EDAs. I believe we can achieve this through empowerment, stability, and respect. Council should work with all party units to map out each part of our party. Their roles and responsibilities, how these pieces fit together, should come together to form a map that we use as a base of a shared understanding to negotiate what I call service level agreements. The goal of these agreements is to balance needs with our capacity and to turn shared understanding into shared expectations. I want to improve the council observer experience by providing observers copies of non-in-camera documents so that they can follow along more easily. Observers should also receive a copy of the draft minutes so that they are aware of any changes between the meeting they observed and the approved minutes later on. Also, all in-camera sessions must include a report out of the in-camera session. Going in camera for hours and then just ending the call, it's not enough. Finally, we need to improve our codes of conduct to demand respectful treatment within our party. Empowerment, stability, and respect. They're vital to our growth. And I'm an optimist. Look at the young Green candidates and our leadership contestants. It's clear that our future is bright. I hope you'll make me your first choice for Fund Rep, and I look forward to your questions this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, John Kidder. John, you might be muted.
Try that one.
There
How's
you
that?
go. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Bonjour tout le monde, je suis John Kidder. Je présente comme candidat pour vice-président anglais. I'm John Kidder, and I'm presenting myself as a candidate for Vice President English for the Federal Council. I think we need to look, before we start talking about my personal background, at the context in which we live here. The Green voice in Canada is about to get a ton of help. You know, our issues, guaranteed livable income, transition from fossil fuels, support for communities, etc., these are top of mind, top of the news cycle every single day. Our 3-member parliamentary caucus is making enormous contributions to our national decision making. We're about to pick a new leader, a brand new leader. We're about to pick a brand new executive director. We're about to elect a brand new council. So all in all, it looks like we're going to have a brand new year. Et en français, le voie verte du Canada est sur le point d'obtenir beaucoup d'aide. Nos enjeux, revenus garantis pour la vie, transition d'énergie fossile, soutien aux communautés, sont d'actualité tous les jours. Notre caucus parlementaire de 3 personnes contribue énormément au processus décisionnel national. Nous allons choisir un tout nouveau leader. Nous embauchons un tout nouveau directeur exécutif et nous sommes sur le point d'élire un tout nouveau conseil fédéral. Ce sera une toute nouvelle année. So what we need to be doing is coming into this year with Federal Council at the center. Council really is the meeting place. It's a central node. It should be the heart of the party. Council should be hearing from everyone, from staff, the caucus, shadow cabinet, the fund, EDAs, and especially the members. And council should be the focal point of party unity. The leader, the new executive director, and council all engaged together and all engaged with members, EDAs, and staff. But so far, I fear that council only hears really from a few. Council hears only from one member of staff by virtue of our antiquated governance model. Doesn't really allow to talk to the EDAs at all. It's not allowed to talk to members. And it doesn't really directly reach out, as nearly as I can see, to anyone. So as a result, we're not really united. And by virtue of not being united, it means that our colleagues and our confrères in Quebec feel disassociated and a bit disrespected. We're not a bilingual party. The young Greens that I've been talking to feel neither seen nor heard nor invited into the discussions at council. Marginalized Greens really struggle to have their issues dealt with in any sort of a timely and sensitive manner. Candidates and campaign managers haven't been asked about the election, about how they feel about it. Councillors can't talk to their electors, and member initiatives aren't supported. Frankly, I think it's outrageous that the party has refused to let members know about these town halls, that the party decided to stand against the recommendation of the Fairness Council to let members know about these. Seems to me profoundly anti-democratic. Encore, le Conseil fédéral est au centre. Le Conseil est le lieu de rencontre, c'est le nœud central, le cœur du parti. Et le Conseil devrait entendre tout le monde. Le personnel, le caucus, le cabinet fantôme, les fonds, l'AID et surtout les membres. Le Conseil devrait être le point focal de l'unité du parti, le chef, le directeur et le conseil, tout engagé avec les membres, le personnel, les EDA et surtout les membres. Mais maintenant, je crois que le conseil n'entend pas que quelques-uns Un seul membre du personnel, pas d'EDA, aucun membre, et le conseil ne parle vraiment à personne. Et ça fait, nous ne sommes pas unis. Nos collègues, nos confrères au Québec se sentent dissociés et respectueux. Les jeunes vertes ne se sentent ni vus, ni entendus, ni invités. Les verts marginalisés ont du mal à régler leurs problèmes. Et les candidats et les directeurs de campagne ne sont pas interrogés sur l'élection. Les conseillers ne peuvent pas parler à leurs électeurs. Les initiatives de membres ne sont pas soutenues. Il est scandaleux, je crois, que le parti ait refusé d'informer les membres de ces town halls. So, in all, I think what we have to come back to is understanding that effective social movements need effective organization. There are real lessons to be learned from our friends in the Sanders and the AOC campaigns to the South. Loud, strong central message, set huge objectives, knock on every door, call on every phone, empower volunteers, and get out of the way. Instead, we seem to take our lessons from the NDP. We borrow our messaging from others. We're happy with incremental improvements, and we celebrate that we have minimal losses. We hire tons of staff instead of relying on volunteers. And most importantly, we control the independent voices in the party. Ce n'est pas la valeur verte fondamentale. Nous sommes basés sur la valeur de la démocratie de participation des membres. Ça ne marche pas bien avec le contrôle. C'est une autre approche que nous avons besoin. But this can all be fixed. 2/3 of the candidates for council in this election, from coast to coast to coast, are allied with me and our work plan and our statement of intentions to reform this council and rebuild a unified party. We're builders of consensus, all of us. 18 of us have agreed on this statement of principles and a plan of action. And this is the hard work of leadership, to get people together on a common cause. We're experienced in many domains: management, governance, activism, equity, youth. We're going to build a strong, unified federal council, working hand in hand with our new director and our new leader. And why? Well, because we're here to change the world. We're here because the fundamental values and goals of the Green Party of Canada are here to show us how to do that. And we think that federal council needs to do its work better, so that the Green Party as a whole can do its work better, because after all, we are here to change the world. Nous sommes ici pour changer le monde. Nous sommes ici parce que les valeurs et les buts du Parti vert du Canada nous montrent comment on fait. Nous sommes ici parce que les valeurs et les buts ont besoin de beaucoup de prominence dans la société canadienne. Et le Conseil fédéral doit faire son travail beaucoup mieux. So, alors que le Parti vert, comme en tous, peut faire mieux son travail. Parce que nous sommes ici pour changer le monde. Et nous sommes ici pour être unis, pour acter, pour participer unis dans la démocratie. Pour ça, il faut que nous changions, il faut que nous fassions des changements au Conseil. Et pour ça, je m'offre comme vice-président anglais. Because of this, I'm standing as Vice President of English. Our 18 folks across the country, 2/3 of the people standing for council are all united in this. We will all continue to do the work. Whether or not we're elected, we're all part of this. We will beef the committee structure up. We'll get the work done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. And I'll just remind all the candidates to make sure that you can see Pat Carl when she starts waving her yellow and red cards. In the little thumbnail strips, you can use the right arrow or the left arrow to find her screen. And Darcy Lantier, go ahead.
Yes, hello, bonjour. Kwe, you've been doing very, very well with your acknowledgements, Megan. I noticed they've been getting better and better over time. I am standing in unceded Mi'kmaq territory on the island known as Abaguate. So my connection to the Green Party really started with Sharon Lapchuk. I don't know if you don't know Sharon, but on PEI, she's the queen of the green, and we're both members of Eco PEI. I was starting a green business when we first met. Sharon went on to become the leader of the Green Party of Prince Edward Island. She was the first one. And right out of the gate in our first election, we only ran 18 out of 27 candidates, but we replaced the NDP as the island's third party. It's the first time in Canada that the Green Party bested a new Democratic Party at the federal or provincial level in Canada. In the 2011 election, of course, we did better. More candidates, a bigger share of the vote, and we ran 59% of our candidates were women, also a benchmark in Canadian politics that has never been met or exceeded since. We're feeling pretty good. Then we had a new provincial council of 7 people. I was the treasurer. We were looking forward to the next election when Sharon informed us that she was going to step down as our leader. And we were horrified. Sharon Lapchuk was the Green Party of PEI. What would we ever do without her? Luckily, she gave us a few months to get organized. I stepped up as the interim leader, and we reached out to candidates to run for the leadership. Most of you know what happened next. We elected the happy dentist, Peter Bevan Baker, as the new leader of the Green Party. And in 2015, we did what smart Greens do. We ran a Target to Win campaign and elected Peter Bevan Baker as the first Green MLA on Prince Edward Island. We didn't know very much about getting out the vote, but luckily Dave Bagler did, and he came to PEI to help us get out the biggest vote ever. Peter Bevan Baker earned 54% of the vote, and the turnout was 85.2%. Since then, we've won a by-election again. Thanks, Dave, for coming and helping us get my dear friend Hannah Bell elected, and now we're the official opposition. We've also moved forward at the federal level during that same period. Now, I don't know who's ever told a provincial rep on federal council that they can't talk to members and EDAs and build grassroots democracy, because that's all I've been doing since I first became the financial agent for Malpec in 2011. In 2015, I recruited 4 great candidates, raised money for them, organized their campaigns. We did better, 253% better. And in 2019, we did better still. All of us earned over 10% of the vote and all qualified for the rebate. None of us were Target to Wins, but we all worked as if we could. 2 of us finished second. I decided to step up as the vice president of the Green Party because I have been right here before. I know what it's like when your smart, compelling leader steps down and it doesn't seem possible to replace them. But that's what we have to do next. The next 6 months of the Green Party of Canada has one purpose. That's to elect a new leader and get them up and running. And that's what I intend to do. Thank you. Merci. Will Allen. Jean-Charles.
Yeah. So I got part of your speech, but like the last 2 paragraphs that you just spoke aren't on the file you sent me, I don't think.
Okay, but you'll only have 3 minutes and French is longer, so.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so bear with me there, folks. Okay, so je parle pour Darcy Lantier, qui se présente pour vice-président. Ma connexion avec le Parti vert a vraiment commencé avec Sharon Lapchuk. Si vous ne savez pas c'est qui Sharon, c'est la reine des Verts à l'île du Prince-Édouard. Elle et moi étions tous les 2 des membres de ECO-PEI et je commençais un commerce vert. Sharon est devenue la chef du Parti vert de l'île du Prince-Édouard et elle a fait un très bon boulot. Intelligente et articulée, avec une connaissance des faits hors pair. Dès le départ, Sharon a pris le Parti vert et l'a amené en 3e position. Même en ayant seulement 18 candidats sur 27 lors de sa première élection en mai 2007, les Verts ont remplacé le nouveau Parti démocratique comme 3e parti sur l'île. C'était la première fois que le Parti vert avait dépassé le NPD au niveau fédéral ou provincial au Canada. Lors de l'élection générale de 2011, le parti a augmenté son nombre de candidats de 18 à 22 et a augmenté sa part des votes. À 59%, le Parti vert était le premier parti politique du Canada dans lequel plus de la moitié de ses candidats étaient des femmes. On se sentait bien et on avait un nouveau conseil provincial de 7. J'étais trésorière et on avait hâte aux prochaines élections. Et puis, lors d'une rencontre en début 2012, Sharon nous a informé qu'elle démissionnait comme chef. Nous étions horrifiés. Sharon Lapchuk était l'essence du Parti vert de l'île du Prince-Édouard. Qu'est-ce qu'on allait faire sans elle? Heureusement, elle nous a donné quelques mois pour nous organiser. Je me suis offerte comme chef intérimaire et ai contacté des candidats pour qu'ils se présentent au poste de chef. La plupart d'entre vous savez ce qui s'est passé par la suite. Nous avons élu Happy Dentist Peter Bevan Baker comme chef des Verts de l'île du Prince-Édouard. Ce fut une soirée que je n'oublierai jamais. L'événement était à guichet fermé. J'étais animatrice. Il y avait des larmes pour Sharon, des larmes de Peter. Elizabeth May a donné un discours inspirant et ensuite, on a dansé. En 2015, nous avons fait ce que les Verts intelligents font. Nous avons mené une campagne pour gagner et avons réussi à faire passer Peter Bevan Baker comme premier élu vert sur l'île du Prince-Édouard. Nous ne savions pas tant sur Nous ne savions pas tant sur comment faire sortir le vote, mais heureusement, Dave Bagler, lui, le savait. Il est venu à l'île du Prince-Édouard nous aider à avoir le plus gros vote que l'on n'a jamais connu. Peter Bevan Baker a obtenu 54% du vote et le taux de participation était de 85,2%. Depuis, il a gagné une élection partielle, encore une fois avec Dave Bagler qui est venu à l'île du Prince-Édouard pour faire sortir le vote. Et pour ma bonne amie et maintenant ministre, Hannah Bell. Maintenant, les Verts sont l'opposition officielle à l'île du Prince-Édouard et si nous avions eu plus de Dave, on aurait pu former le gouvernement. Nous avons aussi avancé au niveau fédéral durant cette période. Quand j'ai pris le rôle de FA pour Malbec, il y avait 30 membres sur l'île du Prince-Édouard, une seule ACE, et quand j'appelais une AGA, seulement moi et Peter se présentaient. En 2015, j'ai recruté 4 candidats fantastiques. J'ai recueilli des fonds pour eux et j'ai organisé leurs pancartes, leurs commerciaux et leurs débats. On a mieux fait, 253% mieux. En 2019, nous avons encore mieux fait. Chacun d'entre nous a obtenu plus que 10% du vote et sommes qualifiés pour le rabais. 2 d'entre nous ont fini 2e. J'ai décidé de me présenter pour vice-président pour le Parti vert du Canada parce que j'ai déjà été ici. Je sais qu'est-ce que c'est de perdre un chef intelligent, inspirant et que ça a l'air impossible de les remplacer. That's what I have. Merci.
Merci, Jean-Charles.
Thank you very much, Darcy. Next is Kate's story, and someone in the chat has mentioned I neglected to say at the beginning what positions people are running for, and I sincerely apologize for that. It is in the chat. Kate Story and Dave Bagler are running for the fund representative, and Darcy Lantier and John Kidder are running for Vice President English. Okay, Kate, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kate Story, and I'm running to be your fund representative, which is also called the treasurer on council. I have 30 years of experience on boards at the local, provincial, and federal levels, and I've served as the president of my local Chamber of Commerce, and I've chaired conventions at a national level, and I'm a farm business manager. I've been with the Green Party for 15 years. I'm the shadow cabinet critic for agriculture. I'm on federal council. I've been a candidate for 9 years, both federally and provincially, or for 9 elections. And I was the Manitoba elections coordinator in 2016 when we almost won a seat. So about the fund. The fund is a board of directors which acts as the party's official agent. And the fund deals with the legal and financial business of the party. On federal council, the fund's representative's job is to have a clear understanding of Green Party procedures and the law and an understanding of finances, and also the ability to speak out when necessary and try to keep people going down the right road. I have the knowledge and the values to be a fund representative on council. I love the grassroots nature of the Green Party. I contribute to the Green Party because I want our youth to have a future. I have grandkids, they're important to me, and I think we can do better, and we can urge our governments to do better. The Green message is starting to be heard all across Canada, but we risk losing the public's trust if we are seen to abandon our Green values for political gain. I'm running because there's no room in the Green Party for negative campaigning and the top-down dictatorial control, which is so common in other parties. We must distinguish ourselves by our values. The Green Party's other strength is our diversity and our commitment to the values of nonviolence, respect, living within our means, honesty, and a willingness to work positively with all others. When they go high, the Green Party needs to be seen. When they go low, the Green Party needs to go high. That has to be how we differentiate ourselves. On council, that means listening to all ideas and looking for ways to build consensus. It means recognizing that one person can never have all the answers. Council makes good decisions when we consider all angles of an issue. I'm committed to building a positive working relationship between electoral district associations and the national office. I'll work to ensure that the diverse voices of our EDAs are heard and welcomed and appreciated. By listening to those diverse views and working together to find that common ground, I believe that Greens can make a positive change in Canada. I look forward to serving you as your fund representative on council. Thank you, merci, and miigwech. And thank you to JC for translating for me now.
If you're thankful once it's done. Bonjour, je m'appelle Kate Story et je suis candidate pour le poste de représentante du fonds trésorière sur le Conseil fédéral. Je suis bien qualifiée, forte de 30 ans d'expérience sur des conseils au niveau local, provincial et fédéral. J'ai été présidente de ma chambre de commerce locale, j'ai agi comme chaire pour des conventions d'un organisme national et je suis gestionnaire d'une entreprise fermière. Je suis au service du Parti vert depuis 15 ans, comme critique du cabinet fantôme sur le sur le Conseil fédéral et comme candidate dans 9 élections fédérales et provinciales. J'ai aussi été coordonnatrice des élections au Manitoba en 2016. Le fonds est un conseil d'administration qui agit comme agent officiel du parti et gère les aspects légaux et financiers du parti. Sur le Conseil fédéral, le représentant du fonds doit avoir une compréhension claire des procédures du Parti vert, une compréhension de ses aspects financiers et légaux et l'honnêteté de prendre la parole lorsque nécessaire. J'ai les connaissances et l'éthique nécessaires pour être votre représentante du fonds sur le conseil. J'aime les racines grassroots, les racines citoyennes du Parti vert. Je contribue au Parti vert parce que je veux que notre jeunesse ait un futur. Le message du Parti vert commence à se faire entendre à travers le Canada, mais nous risquons de perdre la confiance du public si nous abandonnons nos valeurs vertes pour faire des gains politiques. Je me présente parce qu'il n'y a pas de place au Parti vert pour des campagnes négatives ou pour un contrôle dictatorial du haut vers le bas qui est si commun dans d'autres partis politiques. Le Parti vert tire sa force dans notre diversité et dans notre engagement aux valeurs comme la non-violence, le respect, vivre selon ses moyens, l'honnêteté et la volonté de travailler avec d'autres avec une attitude positive. Quand les autres volent bas, nous volons haut. Sur le conseil, ceci implique écouter toutes les idées et chercher à faire des compromis. Ça veut dire de reconnaître qu'une personne ne pourra jamais avoir raison tout le temps. Le conseil prend les bonnes décisions seulement quand chaque aspect d'un sujet est pris en considération de manière équitable. Je me commets à établir une relation de travail positive entre les ACE et le bureau chef. Je vais travailler pour m'assurer que les diverses voix de nos ACE soient entendues, bienvenues et appréciées. En écoutant une diversité de points de vue et en travaillant ensemble pour trouver des terrains d'entente, les Verts peuvent faire des changements positifs au Canada. J'ai hâte de vous servir comme représentante du fonds sur le conseil. Merci.
Thank you, Kate.
Merci.
Okay, so now we are going on to questions, and I see there's already conversation and questions in the chat, but I will start with one question, and as I said, we'll rotate through the candidates in order, and so Dave Bagler went first, so this will be John Kidder answering this question first. As you probably know, we had a Zoom session with the Young Greens, which was a very interesting session. What a fantastic group of future leaders, current leaders actually. But how do you think Council can better support the Young Green wing? Note, I'm not asking about engaging Young Green voters, but rather how can Council better support the Young Green wing of the party?
Donc, la question qui va être posée au candidat concerne la relation du conseil avec l'aile jeunesse du parti, les jeunes verts, et la question est comment est-ce que le conseil peut donner plus de soutien aux jeunes verts? Pas aller recruter plus de votes jeunes, mais bien avoir une meilleure relation avec les jeunes verts à l'intérieur du parti.
Thank you. And John, go ahead. You might be muted again, John.
Too many buttons. Thank you. Am I there now? Okay. First of all, I want to thank the Young Greens in Quebec and Ontario and BC who've been helping me to understand better what this question actually leads to. We believe that we should have on council a standing committee on youth engagement. I don't really like that phrase, youth engagement, but I'll leave it up to the youth to decide on a better one. It should be co-chaired, we think, by the Young Green vice presidents. It should have on it as members ex officio, but active members, the Young Green reps from across the country. And it should be dealing with campus committees, secondary schools, international Young Greens, etc. The intention would be along the lines of the Sanders AOC campaign, again, to knock on every door, call every phone, etc., in the country within 2 years, all over the country. And the only people who can do this are youth. And the only way that we can actually help is to invite them in and then give them rein to do what they want to do. They are the masters of contact, not us. And we need to be able to give folks the resources to do what they want to do. This committee should have a bit of funding. This committee, we believe also that we should reinstate the Young Green Rep as a standard full-time job within the staff of the federal party. And we should empower Young Greens to do what they want to do, and we should get out of their way. They are a force formidable dans tous les pays, les jeunes verts. Et c'est à nous de leur donner les outils et donner un peu de ressources pour faire leur travail magnifique. Online campaigns across the country, meeting with people across the country, building the level of energy that only young people can bring to this, and making this party a national force. That's the job for Young Greens. We get out of the way, they'll get it done. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And next we'll go to Darcy.
So we didn't do a French translation there. Would we be better? I'll try and speak in a few sentences and give Jean-Charles a chance to translate. Is that how we're doing this part?
That was my understanding of it. I thought maybe John was doing his own.
Sorry, c'est ma faute. J'ai oublié de parler en français. J'ai tout oublié. Et aussi, je note qu'il y a on n'a pas plusieurs francophones sur cette chat et sur participants. Mais je vous donne, si j'ai deux moments, je vous donne encore cette pièce en français. Nous croyons, tous nous 18 candidats, que nous devrions former un comité pour Youth Engagement avec les deux candidats pour le Young Green, les deux VP, les Young Green pour le Conseil, pour rapporter au Conseil fédéral. Et tu prends le travail d'engager les jeunes dans tout le pays à la modèle de Bernie Sanders et aussi dans les États-Unis. Knock on every door, call every phone, dans 2 années. Seulement les jeunes qui peuvent faire ça, c'est notre devoir de get out of the way. Merci. Merci Darcy pour me prompt.
Jean-Charles, I'll go on and off because je ne parle pas français. So Young Greens, the best thing we can do for them is vote for them whenever they're running. There's several Young Greens running for council. William Gagnon, there's another one in Ontario. I think there might be one in BC as well. So if you're in one of those places, if you want to support Young Greens, vote for one. I really recommend it.
Donc, selon Darcy, la meilleure façon d'aider les jeunes verts, la première étape qu'il faut faire, c'est voter pour eux. Il y a des jeunes verts qui se présentent dans différents points du pays, entre autres William Gagnon, et il y a d'autres candidats aussi en Colombie-Britannique. Donc, si on veut soutenir les jeunes verts, la première chose qu'on doit faire, c'est voter pour eux quand ils se présentent pour le conseil.
Of course, we need to listen to Young Greens, and we need to do more than that. I've always mentored a Young Green, first William Gagnon, and then Jonathan Williams were both my mentees in the past 4 to 6 years, and that's been just great.
Donc, une autre chose qu'il faut faire, c'est évidemment les écouter. Les jeunes verts, j'ai eu le privilège d'être un mentor pour William Gagnon et I'm sorry, I forgot the other candidate. Who was the other person you mentored?
Jonathan Williams, he was a Young Green on council.
OK, et aussi Jonathan Williams. Donc, j'ai été mentor pour ces deux candidats jeunes verts-là. Donc, c'est important de les écouter.
I personally was very excited about what happened last summer on painting the island green. And I have been speaking with David Murner about doing the same thing on Prince Edward Island this summer. We were looking into it and moving down that path until we all got homebound.
Donc, un geste que j'ai bien aimé l'été passé qui est arrivé, c'est quand on a peinturé l'île en vert. Et j'ai parlé avec David Murner pour faire la même chose à l'île du Prince-Édouard, mais évidemment, maintenant, on est dans des circonstances qui nous empêcheraient de faire ça.
Young Greens are not just volunteers, they should be staffers as well, especially on campaigns. The first person to get paid on my campaign was a Young Green who acted as my volunteer coordinator. Let's not assume that Young Greens have tons of time and no need to earn income, but you need to listen to them, support them, vote for them, try and nominate them, and when you're hiring them, pay them. Thanks very much.
Une autre chose qu'on doit faire pour les jeunes verts, évidemment, c'est de leur donner un emploi. C'est pas assez de simplement les utiliser comme bénévoles durant les campagnes. Il faut aussi leur donner des jobs au sein du parti et au sein des campagnes. Donc, la première personne qui a été payée durant ma campagne précédente, c'était un jeune vert que j'avais employé comme coordinateur des volontaires au sein de ma campagne. Donc, il faut les payer, il faut les écouter. And I forgot a bit of the things you said at the end there. Sorry. Okay, merci.
Okay, thanks, Darcy. And next we'll go to Kate.
Okay, so on council, support for the Young Green Wing looks like dollars in a budget and goals discussed with staff. So we have in the past hired a Young Greens coordinator for short-term contracts. And I'll get JC to just translate as I go along.
Yeah, so that was a bit much. Can you start over?
Okay.
Just do maybe 2 or 3 sentences, sorry.
Okay, well, I'll do it again then. On council, the Young Green support requires dollars and staff to have that goal.
Donc, pour donner du soutien aux jeunes verts sur le conseil, il faut qu'on ait des employés et des fonds pour leur permettre d'atteindre leur objectif.
In the past, we've hired a Young Greens coordinator for short terms.
Dans le passé, nous avons employé un coordinateur des jeunes verts à court terme.
And every time we had a Young Green coordinator hired, we saw a spike in activity and interest from the Young Green campus clubs and the Young Greens Council.
Et à chaque fois qu'on a employé un coordinateur des jeunes verts, on a vu une montée soudaine d'intérêt de la part des clubs sur les campus et de d'autres organismes liés aux jeunes verts.
So the first thing would be to find a way to hire a permanent Young Greens coordinator.
Donc, la première chose à faire, ce serait de trouver une façon d'employer de manière permanente un coordinateur pour les jeunes verts.
And the second thing is to direct some of our communications staff effort toward engagement of Young Greens.
Et une autre chose qu'on devrait faire, c'est d'assurer qu'on ait des ressources nécessaires pour communiquer et adapter nos communications aux jeunes verts.
There are differences between the communications that you put out to old people like me and Young Greens. We have to speak directly to that age group.
On doit parler directement à ce groupe d'âge-là. On ne communique pas de la même façon à des vieux comme moi et à des jeunes. Il y a des façons différentes de communiquer et il faut les adapter pour s'assurer de bien communiquer avec les jeunes.
So thank you, Jean-Charles.
Merci.
Thank you, Kate. Dave Bagler, go ahead.
Thanks, Megan. And JC, I'll ask you to translate for me, please. We do need to do a better job of empowering the youth wing in the party.
On doit nécessairement faire plus pour donner plus de pouvoir à l'aile jeunesse du parti.
I happen to have been on the Young Greens Council in 2008, which is its second year of existence.
Donc, j'étais sur le Conseil des jeunes verts en 2008, qui était la deuxième année d'existence du Conseil des jeunes verts.
And this is before we even had a representative on federal council.
Et ça, c'était avant qu'on ait un représentant des jeunes verts sur le Conseil fédéral.
So I can understand what it's like for the youth wing to feel ignored by the larger party.
Donc, je comprends totalement comment que l'aile jeunesse se sent ignorée par le parti.
I believe that means that we need to bring youth into council, not just the YGC representatives, but also the regional reps working with their regional youth counterpart.
Donc, je pense que c'est nécessaire d'amener les jeunes dans le conseil, mais pas juste le représentant des jeunes, mais aussi des représentants régionaux et leurs équipes.
And I believe that we need to ensure that there is stable, multi-year financial investment from the party in youth organizing.
Je pense qu'il est nécessaire d'avoir un investissement financier à long terme dans les activités liées aux jeunes verts de la part du parti.
But youth empowerment means not just having a youth wing that is on its own. It means integrating youth into decision makings in other areas of the party.
Mais aussi, évidemment, le fait de donner du pouvoir aux jeunes verts, c'est pas simplement de leur donner une aile qui fonctionne de manière séparée ou indépendante du parti. Il faut que l'aile puisse travailler à l'intérieur du conseil, à l'intérieur du parti et avoir des conséquences à ses actions.
And to me, that means linking young people with the EDA, whether that's in their home riding or maybe where they're going to school, so that they know that there's a path after graduation for continued engagement with the party.
Et pour moi, ça veut dire qu'il faut qu'on puisse donner une chance aux jeunes de s'investir dans l'association de circonscription de manière à faire en sorte que quand ils graduent, ils peuvent voir qu'il y a un tracé devant eux qui leur permet de cheminer à travers le parti.
And in passing, as the youngest candidate to run for the executive, who's just a few years out of being considered a young green, it means electing young people to positions that aren't specifically for young people.
Et en passant, so you're talking about yourself here? Sorry. Can you specify, you're saying you're the youngest candidate to run? Is that, just so I know?
For an executive position.
OK. Et évidemment, vu que moi, je suis le plus jeune candidat à se présenter pour une position à l'exécutif. Et donc, sorry, what did you say after that?
Sorry, what was that, JC?
Sorry, what did you say after saying that you were the youngest to run for an executive position?
Oh, just that we can't just have young people elected to youth positions.
On peut pas simplement avoir des jeunes élus dans des positions pour les jeunes. Il faut aussi qu'on ait des jeunes élus dans des positions qui sont ouvertes à tout le monde.
Thanks, JC.
Merci tout le monde.
There's lots of action in the chat. Thank you for all your answers to the first question. Carol, do you have a question ready for the chat?
Yes, hi Megan and everyone. We've got lots of activity happening in the chat here and some great questions. So I'm going to start at the beginning with a question from Claudia. And her question is, got a long list to go through here.
Donc la première question vient de Claudia.
Claudia's, sorry.
No, I was just saying that the first question. La première question va venir. So these are chat questions now that we're doing?
Yes.
OK, fait que ça, on prend les questions du chat. La première vient de Claudia. Sorry.
So this is a question from Claudia. And her question is, how can GPC get to its official party status in the next election? And according to one of our attendees, it takes 12 or more MPs being elected in order for us to be officially listed as a party, an official party.
Donc la question, c'est comment est-ce qu'on peut s'assurer que le Parti vert obtienne le statut de parti officiel au Canada, compte tenu que selon d'autres gens qui sont dans le chat, ça nous prendrait 12 députés élus au pays.
Okay, thanks very much. So the question is, how can we get to 12 seats? Is that correct, Carol?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with Darcy in this round.
So official party status is not just about being an official party. It's about funding. There's quite a large amount of funding that comes with electing 12 MPs and gaining official party status. So that's why it's such an important milestone. We need to get there because that's where we'll be able to build because of that funding that comes with that position. Jean-Charles?
Yeah, okay, I'll try to. Donc, être un parti officiel, c'est plus que simplement avoir 12 personnes élues. C'est aussi un investissement dans recueillir énormément de fonds. Ça prend beaucoup d'argent pour faire élire 12 personnes et avoir ce statut-là. Donc, c'est plus que simplement faire élire des gens, c'est aussi être capable d'avoir beaucoup de financement.
So how do we get there? Well, we get there exactly by doing what we're doing right now. We're having a leadership contest. We're in a minority government. That's how we get there. We build on what we did. We extrapolate out from that. We had 49 candidates get 10% of the vote. So for the first time, many EDAs have positive bank balances.
Donc, comment qu'on peut se rendre à ce statut de parti officiel? On continue à faire ce qu'on fait. Donc, on a plusieurs associations de circonscription qui ont maintenant des finances dans le vert. On a eu 49 candidats qui ont recueilli plus que 2% de votes. On est dans un gouvernement minoritaire, donc il faut continuer à faire ce qu'on fait.
7 candidates finished second, so 3 elected, 7 second place. That bodes well to get 12 in the next election. So we just continue to build on those successes. And EDAs with money are better able to engage voters in between elections and build and attract better candidates.
Donc, on a eu 7 candidats qui étaient arrivés deuxième avec 3 candidats élus. Donc, on se rapproche. C'est possible de voir dans le futur qu'on pourrait en obtenir 12. Évidemment, des associations de circonscription, qui sont bien financées et qui ont beaucoup de fonds ont beaucoup plus de facilité à attirer des votes et attirer des gens à la cause. Merci.
Merci, Jean-Charles.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Darcy. Next, we'll go to Kate.
Okay, JC, I need translation.
Yeah.
So in order to get official party status, we have to concentrate on growing our local EDAs and campaigns.
Donc, pour obtenir le statut de parti officiel, il faut qu'on se concentre sur mousser et agrandir et rendre nos associations de circonscription plus présentes et plus grandes.
It's been said that the Green Party is a mile wide and an inch thick.
J'ai déjà entendu dire que le Parti vert est 1 mille de large et 1 pouce d'épais.
And we can't turn that around by putting staff effort into a limited number of campaigns during an election. That has been proven not to work.
Et ça, on ne peut pas changer cette situation-là si on investit simplement toutes nos ressources dans quelques campagnes. On a vu que ça ne marchait pas.
So we need to engage our EDAs, give them tools, and give them training.
Donc, on doit engager nos associations de circonscription, leur donner des outils et leur donner de la formation.
We need to teach our EDAs how to raise enough money to get a candidate elected and how to go door to get that candidate.
On doit former nos associations, comme je l'ai mentionné. I'm hearing some other people talk.
Yes, that's coming up next.
I'm sorry, Carol, can you mute yourself? My apologies.
Nationally, we have to make...
Sorry, I wasn't done, Kate. I wasn't done. There was someone talking at the same time. Donc, il faut qu'on forme... il faut qu'on forme nos associations de circonscription pour leur permettre de recueillir des fonds et de leur dire aussi comment faire du porte-à-porte de manière efficace pour qu'ils puissent attirer plus de gens au parti.
And nationally, we need to make the Green Party known.
Et à l'échelle nationale, il faut qu'on s'assure que le Parti vert soit bien connu.
The public doesn't really know what Greens are all about. And so we have to find the way to make Green a household name.
Donc, le public ne sait pas vraiment de quoi a l'air le Parti vert et qu'est-ce que c'est l'essence du Parti vert. Donc, il faut qu'on redouble d'efforts pour s'assurer que le public sache qui on est et qu'est-ce qu'on représente.
Thank you, JC.
Merci.
Thanks, Kate. Next, we'll go to Dave.
Thanks. JC, I'll need translation. I would love it if every candidate for the Green Party of Canada ran a fully funded campaign with full staff support.
Moi, j'aimerais vraiment ça si chaque candidat du Parti vert avait une campagne entièrement financée avec des employés qui soutiennent la campagne.
But I think we all recognize that that's currently unrealistic.
Mais,
Go ahead, JC.
mais évidemment, je pense qu'on reconnaît tous que c'est pas du tout réaliste comme possibilité en ce moment.
So what we need to do is look at those areas where we can build from strength. And to me, that's the 49 ridings that received their election expenses rebate.
Donc, compte tenu que c'est pas réaliste, qu'est-ce qu'il faut qu'on fasse? Selon moi, il faut qu'on regarde en particulier dans les 49 circonscriptions où est-ce qu'on a eu suffisamment de pourcentage de vote pour obtenir le rabais.
But it can't simply be limited to those ridings. Other EDAs and ridings must be given the opportunity to grow into a riding that shows real promise for a breakthrough.
Mais évidemment, on ne peut pas non plus se limiter à ces circonscriptions-là. Il faut aussi qu'on puisse permettre d'autres ACE et d'autres circonscriptions d'obtenir le soutien pour leur permettre de grandir dans une circonscription qui a un potentiel d'aider un candidat vert.
And that means communicating clear metrics of success with EDAs so that they know how support and resource investment decisions are being made. And that's something, for example, that the Green Party of Ontario is doing right now.
Donc, une chose qu'on peut faire pour aider les ACE, c'est de leur envoyer des barèmes bien définis pour décrire les étapes de leur succès et s'assurer qu'ils ont une progression bien encadrée de la part du parti. C'est d'ailleurs ce que fait le Parti vert en Ontario.
And we need to engage volunteers and ask them to do bigger things nationally. It's something that we did before. For those of you who have read Rules for Revolutionaries about Bernie's 2016 campaign.
Donc, pour ceux qui ont lu le livre de Bernie, Rules for Revolutionaries, sur sa campagne de 2016, il faut aussi qu'on réalise l'importance de demander aux volontaires de faire des plus grandes choses à l'échelle nationale.
Their success came through engaging large number of volunteers to do phone canvassing.
Leur succès est entre autres venu à l'aide de volontaires beaucoup de volontaires qui faisaient beaucoup d'appels pour recruter des membres.
This is the same strategy we used in 2011 to engage thousands of volunteers in electing Elizabeth May.
C'est d'ailleurs la stratégie qu'on a employée en 2011 quand on a recruté des milliers de volontaires pour faire élire Elizabeth May.
Okay, thank you, Dave. And next is John Kidder.
Thank you. It's a fantastic question. I would suggest, though, that all of us who are suggesting specific solutions are doing this without much data. What we have not done as a party is to evaluate the last election. We've had a survey put out by the party which asked how candidates and people were, whether or not they were happy with the particular tools the party provided, and they got some useful information. We've had a larger survey put out by a member group called Members for Growth and Renewal, with most of us are familiar, which was starting from the other point of view. What did you not like about the election? How did it not work? Neither of those, although they both generated some useful data, neither of those is the kind of objective overall analysis that we need to understand, to properly understand what it is we did properly, what it is we did wrong, and what it is we need to move forward. This is just the requirement of any decent board or any decent council, is to ensure that you get information properly from all points before we make decisions. I've been calling for such a review since December. It's a key element of my campaign for Vice President English. It's a key element of the campaign for the 18 candidates who signed on for us. We all believe that we must have a clear understanding of what it is we did, how we did it, our strategy, our tactics, our execution, our results, and our reporting. All of those things need to be clarified and well understood. Pardon si je lis quelque chose en français. Je crois que le Conseil devrait entamer un examen complet de notre campagne, dirigé par un tiers de bonne réputation, quelque chose d'autre, pas dans le parti, qui aurait librement accès aux candidats, aux directeurs de campagne et aux équipes de soutien, et bien sûr à l'équipe de campagne de Parti central. Toutes sortes de choses à l'information. Le Conseil fera une sorte de cet examen soit terminé ici la fin du mois de juillet, qu'il soit distribué aux associés de conscription électorale et aux candidats, et qu'il soit discuté par les membres au Congrès d'octobre. Now, I know that we have a small internal survey. It does not suffice. I know that we have a larger survey externally. It does not suffice. Making judgments without data is not wise. It's not the job for a board. It's not the job for council. Let's get the data, put our best minds to it, and say, what do we do going forward? Merci.
Thanks, John. Okay, Carol, we do have prepared questions, but there is so much going on in the chat that I think we'll just go to the audience. And maybe I'll just say it is already 4:15 Pacific time and we have 15 minutes left. Are the candidates all able to stay longer on the call? If you wouldn't mind just unmuting yourself and saying whether you can or cannot stay longer. If you can't, we'll end on the half hour, but if you can, maybe we can keep going.
I can stay.
Kate, okay.
I would prefer to end on time.
Okay, then we'll end on time.
Thank you.
Okay, so we may have just time for one more question then. Carol, go ahead.
Well, Megan, there is a question that has had a lot of chat going attached to it, and so I think this is a pertinent one. It was asked by Trudy, and actually she asked that Dave and John specifically reply. Her question is, can the new council choose to ditch the Carver model? And if not, how will they use it, meaning council, to be more democratic? Shall I rephrase that?
Sorry. Donc, la prochaine question vient aussi du chat, concerne le modèle Carver. Et la question est, est-ce que, selon vous, c'est possible que le parti élimine ou remplace le modèle Carver par un autre modèle? Et sinon, what was the other half, if we don't replace it?
If not, if it cannot be replaced, how will council use it more democratically?
OK. Et si on ne peut pas remplacer le modèle Carver, comment est-ce que les membres du conseil proposent de l'utiliser pour qu'il soit utilisé de manière plus démocratique?
And could we start with Dave and John?
On va commencer avec Dave et
John. Well, now you're messing up my order. I think we'll just let everyone answer the question, if that's okay. So Kate was next to start this round.
Donc, Kate va commencer par répondre.
Okay. Council cannot ditch bylaw 2.7.1 until the members take it out of our bylaws. We have to use Carver governance, but we can use it much better. Any kind of governance will work if you have an executive director that's willing to build an open collaborative relationship with council, and a council that understands the model of governance that they are supposed to be using. In policy governance.
Kate, do you want me to translate this?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I will back up. Would you like me to read?
So I'm going to start, but I forgot like some of it, so you'll have to repeat yourself a bit. Donc, le modèle Carver est décrit dans une des bylaws du parti. Je pense qu'elle a mentionné la 2.7. quelque chose. Donc, pour l'instant, il n'est pas possible de ne pas se servir du modèle Carver. So I'm up to what you said, that it was in a bylaw and that it's not possible for us not to use it for now.
Okay, it's in our bylaw 2.7.1.
2.7.1. Donc, on est censé se servir du modèle Carver.
Yeah, so you need an executive director that is willing to talk to council about what is not working as well as what is working.
Donc, on a besoin d'un directeur de conseil qui veut parler aux membres du conseil pour déterminer qu'est-ce qui ne marche pas à partir du modèle Carver et qu'est-ce qui marche bien.
And you need a council that is able to keep its fingers out of operations, but put its noses into the to understand the operation.
Donc, on a besoin d'un conseil qui est capable de se détacher des opérations et de les laisser aller, mais aussi qui comprennent les opérations.
Policy governance means that council would spend time at every single meeting discussing goal achievement, the reasons for goal failure, and adjusting those goals.
La gouvernance de ce genre-là implique... Sorry, can you repeat yourself? Sorry.
Okay, it means that council would spend time at every meeting discussing goal achievement.
Donc, ce type de gouvernance-là impliquait que chaque membre du conseil discutait les objectifs à chaque réunion.
And discussing the reasons for goal failure.
Et discuter aussi les raisons pour lesquelles les objectifs n'ont pas été atteints.
And adjusting those goals.
Et par la suite, ajuster les objectifs.
We have never done this properly the way it is supposed to be done in policy governance, but we could.
On n'a jamais fait ça comme c'est censé être fait en policy governance. On n'a jamais vraiment implémenté la manière dont le modèle est censé fonctionner, mais on pourrait.
Thank you, JC, and I'm sorry I rushed ahead there.
No, it's my fault for being old and forgetful. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Kate. Okay, Dave, go ahead.
JC, I'll also need translation.
Yeah.
No, we can't change the model. It's the bylaw.
Donc, non, on ne peut pas changer le modèle. C'est dans les règlements.
But if the members chose to, they could at the next general meeting.
Mais si les membres le choisissaient, ils pourraient le changer à la prochaine AGA.
But I don't think they should, because I feel strongly that policy governance or Carver model governance allows council to keep their eyes on the horizon instead of the day-to-day.
Mais personnellement, je pense pas qu'on devrait remplacer le modèle Carver parce que je pense que ça permet au conseil de regarder plus vers l'horizon et vers le futur au lieu de se concentrer sur les opérations du jour au jour.
Personally, I think some of the candidates are blaming the governance model as a way of not holding council accountable. And to me, accountability has to be of primary importance for federal councillors.
Donc, moi, personnellement, je pense qu'il y a plusieurs candidats qui blâment le modèle Carver au lieu de blâmer le conseil, de council, right?
Yep.
Au lieu de blâmer le conseil. Donc, selon moi, c'est important qu'on rendre le conseil imputable de ses actes et qu'on responsabilise le conseil au lieu du modèle pour les résultats des dernières élections.
When federal council tells the executive director what decision to make, they break the chain of accountability. They can no longer hold the executive director responsible for the outcomes of that decision.
Quand le conseil fédéral dit à un directeur quelle décision prendre, essentiellement, elles font en sorte que le directeur ne peut plus, lui, être responsable de cette décision-là, puisque c'est pas le directeur lui-même qui a fait la décision, c'est le conseil.
Because the executive director didn't make the decision. It was federal council's decision.
C'était pas le directeur exécutif qui avait pris la décision, c'était la décision du conseil fédéral.
So federal council needs to stick to their strategic planning and oversight role and actually do the job of developing strong governance policy.
Donc, le Conseil fédéral devrait simplement s'en tenir à développer une politique forte et s'en tenir à un rôle de gouvernance et laisser les détails à l'extérieur de leur champ de compétences.
And I believe that we need broad governance training for any Green Party member who's interested, because there does seem to be a significant number of misconceptions, even amongst council candidates.
Et je pense qu'on devrait offrir une formation sur la gouvernance à tous les candidats intéressés parce qu'il semble y avoir beaucoup de manque de compréhension sur comment que le modèle est censé nous aider à gouverner le parti.
Thank you very much. It's an important question.
Merci beaucoup. C'est une question très importante.
Thank you. And Darcy, go ahead.
Maintenant,
Darcy, you might be muted.
I am muted because I thought John Kidder would be next. K. L.
Oh, did I miss John?
Yes.
Oh my God, I did miss John. I'm sorry, John. We'll let Darcy go ahead.
Okay, you want me to go? It's my
No, no, let's
Want
let Darcy
Darcy?
go. I'm sorry. And then I will come back to you.
It's John's turn.
Okay. All right, John, you're on.
Okay. Dave, I actually do have some very significant training in governance. I've been through a lot. I've been a member of the Institute of Corporate Governance for many years, a Society of Governance Professionals. I started the first company in Canada to deal with governance online. I've taken every course available in Canada in governance from the Institute and from a number of others. I've worked on a lot of nonprofit boards that have been messed up by, you're quite right, misapplications of the Carver model. And I've worked on a lot of corporate boards that would not even go near it. My suggestion is that the Carver model, really the key element of it is that it says there's a single point of accountability to the board, to the council. That is, council only gets to talk to the executive director. And I think Kate made the point well. The key element of governance, one of the key elements is the phrase that's used in the business all the time is noses in, fingers out. Council needs to know what's going on. The single point of accountability defeats that. It's as simple as that. It's just not suitable, I don't believe, for a political party. It might be suitable for a single purpose, not for profit, where it's very mature, well-funded, where the job of the directors is to put on their jewels and go to galas and hit each other up for checks for $50,000. That's a good role. Then Carver works there with a solid executive director running a solid executive management team. I don't think that's where we are. I think we resemble much more a startup company. We have to set great, big, audacious goals, figure out how to get them. We have to mobilize a ton of people. We're not like a mature organization plodding along on a well-developed path. So Carver just restricts the ability of council to talk to people. That's all it does. It's pretty simple. It's not to suggest for a moment that council is going to be in the business of making day-to-day decisions. That's not what governance is about. Governance is about, as you said, insight, oversight, and foresight. So deputies or members of boards are chosen because they've got some critical experience. They can look at things and they can have oversight over all aspects of the organization's operation, from the mailroom to the C-suite, all of it, in order that they can properly provide the kind of foresight that you want a council to be able to do. That's really the job. And there's nothing particularly wrong with Carver. What is wrong is to actually embed something like this in an organization's bylaws, because it restricts the flexibility of the organization to choose a better system when one comes along, or to say, oh, that doesn't quite work for us now. And that is the job of council, is to keep on top of when governance systems work and which ones are not properly working. So to be restricted in its choice is fundamentally an error. It's a fundamental strategic error, I think. Je crois que le modèle Carver dépend, le seul point de Carver est qu'on a besoin d'un seul point d'accountability, une seule personne dans l'organisation qui donne le rapport au conseil. Ça, à mon vue, ça ne marche pas bien pour un parti politique. Peut-être c'est assez pour une non-profit avec un seul but, mais nous avons quelque chose de beaucoup plus compliqué que pour ça. Mais je suis fini. Merci beaucoup.
Thanks, John. Okay, Darcy, go ahead.
Sorry, I was paying attention to my order and I had a pie. So I had to get the pie out of the oven. I could not take the time. Sorry. So the Carver governance model. I love the Carver governance model. I think governance works well for the Green Party. I've been on council for 4 years. I'm the chair of 2 committees. I find that the model works perfectly. Sorry, Jean-Charles.
It's okay. Just like if you needed that, you need to.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
J'ai passé 4 ans sur le conseil. D'après moi, le modèle Carver, je l'aime et je pense qu'il fonctionne. That's what I remember you said so far.
Okay. So, not all. I think we made a huge mistake after our last election when we forego the training. We were gearing up for an election. We didn't feel we had enough time, and we skipped the governance training. And I think it was a big mistake. I certainly hope that, regardless of who is on council this time, that governance training happens right at the start.
Donc, je pense qu'on a fait une grande gaffe aux dernières élections. On n'a pas procédé avec la formation sur la gouvernance Donc, il y a eu des erreurs qui ont eu lieu à cause de l'absence de formation sur la gouvernance. On était dans des élections, puis on s'est concentré là-dessus, mais j'espère qu'aux prochaines élections, on va avoir une formation sur les modèles de gouvernance pour s'assurer de bien l'utiliser.
I've never had a problem getting information from the party through the staff that I deal with directly as the chair of the finance committee. I talk to the director of finance. On the convention committee, obviously I'm talking to Honora about conventions. I don't have any problem doing this. What I'm not is their boss. I'm getting information from them. I'm not ordering them about. And that's how the governance policy that we have, that's how it works.
Donc, moi, j'ai pas eu de problème à communiquer avec les gens à l'aide de ce modèle-là. J'avais besoin d'informations et je pouvais l'avoir. Je me sentais pas comme le patron de ces gens-là. C'était simplement des gens qui avaient de l'information et que moi, je voulais avoir accès à cette information-là. Et je pense pas que le modèle nous empêchait de fonctionner de cette façon.
Any governance model that gives 30 employees, 20 employers is going to be problematic. And you know, this idea that federal council can just make its own rules as a council is completely inappropriate. Members make rules and we all follow them.
C'est totalement inapproprié de penser que le Conseil fédéral peut faire ses propres règlements. Les membres font les règlements et on doit tous les suivre.
And I think that's probably it. I agree with most of what Dave said. And our new ED will be starting very soon, and I'm certainly hoping that everyone gets up to speed and helps him out, and we get it all, we get everything working back the way it should.
Donc, je suis pas mal d'accord avec ce que Dave a mentionné. Je voulais juste mentionner aussi qu'on va avoir un nouveau directeur exécutif bientôt. J'espère que tout le monde va lui donner du soutien et qu'on va pouvoir travailler ensemble.
Okay, thanks very much. So this has really sparked a lot of conversation, and clearly we could go on a lot longer. And so I did post in the chat if anyone is interested in having another of these sessions to continue answering some of the questions, the really good questions that were in the chat, and maybe continuing this discussion. If the candidates are willing, I'm willing to organize another of these sessions. And I've posted my email in the chat if people want to indicate they're interested in that. So it is the half hour, and we're going to have to move.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
Yes.
Ceux et celles qui sont intéressés, donc Megan a laissé son courriel dans le chat. Si vous voulez qu'il y ait une autre réunion comme celle-ci pour continuer à parler entre autres de ça et des autres questions qui sont dans le chat, veuillez faire signe et au besoin, elle pourra en organiser un autre.
Okay, thank you. And so we're going to, I also put in the chat, there is going to be a roundtable with the leadership candidates on April 18th. And that is in the chat as well. There is a Facebook event page for that. So make sure you can find that. So we're going to move to the summation. I am really sorry to have to cut this short. I mean, it's not short, but I have to end. But we'll go to the summation now. You have 2 minutes altogether, English and French. And we'll start with Dave Bagler.
Donc, tous les candidats ont maintenant 2 minutes pour faire des remarques en guise de conclusion. On commence avec Dave Bagler.
And JC, I'll ask you to translate.
Okay.
First off, I'd like to thank Megan, Pat, and the other organizers.
Donc, je voulais commencer par remercier Megan et Pat et tous les autres organisateurs.
For putting together this series of webinars. I think you've done the party a real service.
Je voulais les remercier d'avoir organisé cette série de webinars. C'est vraiment un service important que vous rendez au parti.
I'd also like to thank Kate, John, and Darcy for participating tonight. I think it's been a fruitful discussion.
Je voulais aussi remercier Kate, John et Darcy d'avoir participé. Je pense qu'on a eu des discussions qui ont porté des fruits.
To go back to what I said in my introduction, we need to clearly define and establish the roles and responsibilities of each party unit.
Donc, pour en revenir à ce que je disais dans mon introduction, je pense que c'est important qu'on définisse et qu'on établit les rôles de manière claire pour chaque membre du comité.
So that we can work together to come up with a shared set of expectations, in particular between EDAs and the central office.
Et comme ça, si on avait bien défini les rôles que tout le monde sont censés remplir, on pourrait avoir des attentes en commun qui pourraient mieux gérer et légiférer, les relations entre les associations et le conseil.
We also need council to operate more transparently. That means relying on in-camera sessions only when necessary and following the process every time. Go ahead, Josh.
Donc, on a aussi besoin que le conseil démontre beaucoup plus de transparence, entre autres avoir des sessions avec caméra seulement quand c'est nécessaire.
And it also means having the regional reps treat the members in their region like constituents and engaging them in conversations, not just at election time, but in the run-up to major council decisions as well.
C'est important que les représentants régionaux traitent les membres de leur communauté comme des gens qui sont des constituents, donc des membres. Sorry, I don't know how to translate constituents. Donc, c'est important que les représentants régionaux traitent les gens comme des électeurs potentiels. And I forgot the other part, sorry.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Merci tout le monde.
Thank you. Okay, next is John Kidder.
Merci tout le monde. I think what we need to be looking at here is ways to live our values, to vivre en nos valeurs vertes. We start with participatory democracy. This election, for instance, is a wonderful example in non-participatory democracy, where the council and the executive have blocked every possible means for people to communicate with members. We don't have membership lists. This particular set of discussions has not been promoted. This is not democracy. This is not green values. So let's start with participatory democracy. On doit commencer avec les valeurs vertes, le respect pour diversité, to invite people into the party rather than freezing them out. We need to refresh our collective vision and culture. I've been trying to put this together since last November. Again, no assistance from the party. Pour réfléchir notre vision et nos cultures. But en avant de bringing in a new leader and a new ED, it's important that we understand what the party wants, what the members want, and bring that forward. We need to have open communication with the EDAs and with the members. That's so clear, and we don't. We need to engage continuously with thousands of volunteers across the country, and we don't. We need to invite outsiders in. No winners, no losers, all in this together. We need to find out by collecting information how to improve our election strategy and our tactics and our performance and our reporting. We can't claim victory without having some idea of what actually happened. And we need to modernize our internal governance processes. And Darcy, there is no intention for anybody to have 20 bosses dealing with all the staff. That's a ridiculous thing to say. It's not how boards work, and you know that. It's to have a different sense of reporting and a different sense of communication and engagement and strategic planning with the members of staff. That's how boards work. So, pour moi, it comes back to valeur. It is our principal values as Greens that must drive us. I don't think we've been living them for the last while. I'd like to help us get back to that. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Merci à les autres candidats et merci à l'organisateur. Merci. And perhaps I have a chance to deal with my conflict of interest. Elizabeth May is a non-voting member of council. This current council passed a rule that said all 3 MPs should be members of council. That's bad decision-making. They should report to council. They do not need to be members. And if I were on council, I would make a motion to say that they should not be members at all. Thank you very much.
Sorry, John, I'm going to cut you off there.
Yep.
I know that was a good question, but okay, Darcy, go ahead.
I agree. It does seem, transparency could certainly be improved. There's no doubt there. And it's in the way that we reach out, because council meetings are open to the members. Any member can sit in on council meetings. I did it a lot before I joined council. So they're out there. They tend to be a little bit dry, like very dry toast, but they can still be joined. They can still be participated in. There's a lot of information on the website that people don't ordinarily look for or see as well. But as far as openness for the election itself, or participatory democracy, oh, sorry, Jean-Charles.
It's all right. I mean, it's just like, I literally can't do it if you talk that
I know.
Okay. I don't know what you want me to do here. I can, whatever you
let's start after this part. As far as participatory democracy, every member knows there's an election going on if they get email from us. If they don't get email from us, they've got a ballot in the mail. Every member knows there's an election going on. Every candidate is on the website. Everyone had a chance to put in a bio, to answer a question. There was some sort of rubric as well. Our phone numbers, our addresses, our emails are all up there. While we were on this call, actually, I received a phone call from a lovely woman in Saskatchewan who called to say she was voting for me and wanted to ask me a couple of questions. So certainly members can participate. How do we inspire members to participate? That's a trickier question. And that goes with the same question about how we inspire members to vote, how we inspire people to vote for us.
Yeah, there's no way I can do that whole. I'm just going to summarize it, I guess, if you want.
You do that. Thank you, Jean-Charles.
OK. Essentiellement, elle parle Premièrement, au début, elle a parlé de donc la transparence et elle a dit que les gens, s'ils veulent, peuvent assister à certaines réunions du conseil. Donc, il n'y a pas nécessairement un problème de transparence. Et ensuite, elle a parlé de participation démocratique. Elle a mentionné que les gens qui sont intéressés sont au courant qu'il y a une élection dans le parti en ce moment. Ils ont reçu des courriels qui les informaient de ce qui se passait en ce moment. Et il y avait aussi des sites web sur lesquels on peut obtenir des informations sur les candidats. Donc, en termes d'encourager les gens à participer, les outils ont été déployés pour s'assurer que les gens puissent participer au processus démocratique.
See, the French is so much longer. They have a different word for everything, and it all takes a little extra time. Thank you so much, Jean-Charles. You've been fantastic.
Thank you. Merci.
Thanks, Darcy. And Kate, go ahead. Kate, are you muted?
There, is that better? Jean-Charles, do I need to stop or can you read my conclusion?
Oh yeah, I have that. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So the Green Party of Canada is at a key turning point, just like the NDP and other parties. The question is, will we give in to the temptation of negative campaigning and top-down control, or will we be a grassroots party of positive collaboration that puts our values first? Participatory democracy is hard, it's messy, but I believe that Council must ensure that our party operations stay true to Green values. I believe that this party can be respectful and diverse and transparent and can drive political change. We've talked about governance in this debate, and I don't think that the type of governance matters all that much. Any governance methods would require that Council have a clear insight into party operations and respectful oversight over staff without meddling. Council's task is to ensure that there will be a positive, collaborative relationship between staff, between members, electoral district associations, all across the party. I'm running for council because I believe that members and the public want a Green Party which lives our values of fairness and honesty and respect. Thank you, merci, and Chimigwich.
OK. Le Parti vert du Canada est à un point tournant. Allons-nous céder à la tentation de faire des campagnes négatives et au contrôle top-down du haut vers le bas, ou allons-nous être un parti de collaboration positive qui met les principes d'abord? Je crois que le Conseil doit s'assurer que les opérations de notre parti restent fidèles aux valeurs vertes. Je crois que ce parti peut être respectueux, diversifié et transparent et peut être un moteur de changement politique positif. Nous avons parlé de gouvernance par conseil durant cette élection, mais je ne pense pas que le type de gouvernance soit si important. Toutes les méthodes de gouvernance requièrent que le conseil ait une bonne compréhension des opérations du parti et traite ses employés avec respect. Le conseil doit s'assurer qu'il y a une relation positive et collaborative entre les employés et les membres des ACF. Je me présente au conseil parce que je crois que les membres et le public veulent un parti vert qui véhicule nos valeurs d'honnêteté, d'équité et de respect. Merci.
Thank you, Jean-Charles. You have my undying respect for being able to translate. That's a skill that I really admire.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much, Jean-Charles. And thank you to all our candidates. This was an amazing session, and clearly there is an awful lot of engagement on this. So I realized that I just previously solicited more than 80 emails to come to my inbox, but so be it, because I think this is obviously a discussion that people are very engaged in, and there were so many questions that didn't get a chance to be asked. So I will be in touch with the candidates, and if you're willing to come on again, you will be more than welcome, but it seems like there's an awful lot of interest from the party membership on this. So huge thanks to Dave Bagler, John Kidder, Darcy Lantier, and Kate Story. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And Jean-Charles, thank you so much for coming tonight when your power was off earlier today. And if you email me that you're interested, I'll be following up. All right, thank you very much, everybody. And that is the end of the meeting.